So we're going to be chatting about how to add Tugboat previews to your Drupal contributed module or theme. So this is all about whether you've got a module that's on Drupal.org or a theme or a distribution or something like that. That's what we're going to be focusing on here. If you don't have one of those things, feel free to lurk. And if you are helping out in contrib in any way, you'll benefit just from knowing how it works. If you realize I shouldn't be in here, that's totally fine too, and feel free to dip out. So, but yeah, first up, let's talk about what the heck is Tugboat. So Tugboat is a automated merge request preview tool or pull request preview tool. Since Drupal.org uses GitLab, it's called merge requests there. And what that does is it spins up a fully working website for every merge request that comes in. And not only does it do that, but it merges whatever that branch is into the target branch, and then runs whatever build steps are necessary there. And then you get a link back where you can view just that one change in the Drupal.org issue. So this is really helpful for things like manual QA, especially for technical and non-technical folks. So Drupal is, got a lot of tech nerds and stuff like that, but also allowing folks that are helping out in the Drupal community in a variety of ways beyond just the tech side of things, doing accessibility testing, doing design QA, that sort of a thing. And also really helpful for just being able to test across a variety of devices. So if you want to test something on a screen reader or something like that, or on a small mobile device, low bandwidth, stuff that you can't, that's a little trickier to test with automated testing tools. It's also really helpful for developers to do like quick prototyping. So if they've got an idea and they just want to throw up some code and then see what happens without having to install Drupal on your local site or on your local and get everything compatible there. You can just write the code, create the merge request, and then Drupal.org will have a link for you to test it out. So this is already in use by Drupal core. So any merge request for Drupal core right now will have this Tugboat preview link. You may not have seen it before because it's really small and it's kind of hard to miss. They also only last 5 days right now before they get deleted. So if you're looking at an old issue, it's probably not going to have a link. We are working on changing how some of this works so that that'll be a little easier, but Drupal core is using it. The Olivero team used it a ton for some of the things that I was saying before about having non-technical folks be able to come in and provide QA for, we want a really nice design here, and they were able to rapidly work on that project. The dashboard initiative as well has been using it a ton. Drupal CMS is using it for their development on Drupal CMS itself. Experience Builder has it set up, and lots more. And we're going to actually have some more using it today when we're done with this. So as long as the internet cooperates. So there's a case study on Drupal.org about the integration. There's some documentation pages up there as well. But yeah, this is already built into Drupal.org, and it's pretty easy actually to get your theme or your module set up to use it as well. Welcome, come on in. So once it's set up, like I was saying, it's a little hidden here. But you can see this highlighted area right here. There's a little View Live Preview link. And so if you see this View Live Preview link, this is what Tugboat is powering this on here. And so you can click that link. And then, for example, this was an Experience Builder issue. So once you click that link, you're taken to the demo site here that has this change applied to it. And so you could log in, and this is after being logged in. For this particular preview, the credentials are just admin. So if you're ever on a experience, builder, issue, and want to tinker with it, you can log in, click around, change things, make sure nothing broke, make sure everything looks like it's supposed to. There's also, if you see off to the right there, there's a view log button. So if there are errors in the actual build process, you can click that and see through into the actual log there, which is nice. And the documentation for how to set this up is, I always have a hard time finding it. Even like I'll do a Google search and try to find it, and it's just impossible to find. So I created a short URL here, lb.cm, and that's do as in Drupal.org, tb as in Tugboat. So hopefully that will be easy to remember. The lb.cm, that's lullabot.com is the short URL provider there. So lb.cm, dotb. Okay, so we're going to switch to an actual live demo here of doing this on a module. And so I need to hit pause on this for a sec. Okay, so I asked around the Lullabot for any modules that don't already have Tugboat set up. And this one is maintained by some Lullabots. It currently does not have Tugboat integration. I have never used this module. I know nothing about it, so this could crash and burn, but that's kind of the idea here, is to actually show how this works when you're trying to set this up, knowing nothing. So this is that documentation page that I gave the short URL for. And you look through here, we've got lots of information here, really helpful stuff. But really, like, here's the main chunk of it. So here's like adding live previews to a contributed module, and the way you do that is by adding a .tugboat/config.yml file. Sorry, I realize this is kind of small. You add this .tugboat config.yml file into your module or theme. In this case, this is the instructions for a module, and you just copy and paste this chunk of code here. You've got to change a few lines. This is an example for web form module. Here you can see. And so we're going to have to swap some of that stuff out. But for the most part, we can just copy paste and be good to go. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create a issue. Add Tugboat integration, feature request, miscellaneous, and so we'll go ahead and create this issue here. Awesome. And I'll create an issue fork. And I'm going to click this. Sometimes it already creates it. Oh, there we go. I got to log in. Huh.
I don't think you were signed in on the replay.
Oh, I wasn't. It looked like I was, but then... Yeah, okay. Got to sign in here. There we go. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So we've got a new issue created. I've got a fork ready to go. And so now we just need to add, check out this fork, and then add that this config.yml file in our branch. So I'm going to copy this, go over to my terminal. I've already got the 1.x branch of this module checked out. So we're going to add the remote for the fork. And then, see, why does this do it? Sometimes it already has the branch created and other times it doesn't. So I just created a duplicate branch, but whatever. All right, so now we're going to make that .tugboat directory in here. We're going to create a config.yml file, and then we'll open that up in our IDE. I'm going to go back to this documentation. I'm just going to copy all of this, paste it in here. And we can talk through what all this stuff does. But just to start, like just to show that I don't really need to understand what all this stuff does, I'm just going to do a find replace of web form and replace it with this module's name, which is, I've already forgotten, DMG. And replace all. And then we're going to add this file. And let's see what's our issue number here. Sure, we'll take that. Push that up. Create a merge request. And switched. And then when we go back to our issue, you'll see that we've already got Tugboat. Once that config.yml file is there in the branch, it'll automatically detect that and start creating a preview. You can click the view logged and to see the progress of this. But one thing to note here on this, you have to continue to refresh, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to cheat here since I have actual access to the Tugboat dashboard, and this is boring to watch, or in this context. I'm going to actually pull up this preview, and we'll watch the logs in real time here. It's already committing the containers here, but you could see the logs going by along here. So everything completed successfully. We're almost to the ready point. And if we switch back over to our issue, yep, it now says the live preview is ready. So we should be able to click here, and we've got this merge request with its own isolated environment. We can log in. I think it's admin. Yep. And I don't know anything about this module, so we're going to go back and read the README to see, like, how am I even supposed to configure this thing, just to make sure that it's working. I don't see a README in here, so maybe it's on the module page itself. Admin structure, display modes, view modes. So let's go there. Admin structure, display modes, view modes. And then if we edit these, what are we? Oh, configuration guidelines. So I think that's what this is. This module provides, I think. Yes, thumbs up from Chris. Yeah, so that's that's really it. I mean, it's pretty easy if you've got a Drupal module or theme to get this integration working automatically in your project. So, question?
I was trying to follow along.
Yeah.
I missed a step.
Okay.
After you have created the merge request to get that .tugboat config YAML file in, I guess first of all, is it YAML?
It is not YAML.
Okay.
Yeah, so the question was, is it config.yml, the file? And it is not. It's YML. And that does make a difference because Tugboat is looking for the existence of that file before it's going to create your preview. If it doesn't detect that file in your repository, then it's not going to create a preview. So yeah, this one is ready to go. Yeah, one more question, but let me just switch this over to our issue here to ready for review. And if I can figure out how to do that would be helpful.
I think it's under the summary.
Summary. Issue summary.
I think it's under
Or do you need to edit the issue?
No, you should.
No?
Well, that's
No.
good.
Issue metadata.
That's it.
Here it is.
Oh,
Man,
that was hidden. That's good.
needs review. We can do this. We've done this millions of times. So now in this case, since I'm not the maintainer of this module, the maintainer can come in, check this out, and they can check this live preview button, see that it works, and then if they want to merge this in, then merge it in. Then any new merge requests for any sorts of functionality for this module will automatically get a Tugboat preview. Yes?
How soon should you expect the live preview link to be available? Is it when that merge request that adds Tugboat is merged?
Once this button, this section should show up as soon as you create the merge request, if that .tugboat config.yml is in your branch. But if you would like, we can go through. We've got plenty of time, so if y'all have modules you want to do right here, like we just did, we can do some more. So, Steve, you had a question.
You said that they're ephemeral, they go away after 5 days. Is there
Yeah.
a rebuild? I mean, I see there's a rebuild button, but I think that's probably not the same thing.
Right now, if it goes away on a merge request because you hit that 5-day limit, the way to get it back is to close the merge request and then reopen it, unfortunately. And the reason that's the current situation is because right now Drupal.org has this separation between GitLab and where all the issues and stuff live. So we've got an integration that we've written that's a part of the D7 Drupal.org that kind of wires up using the Tugboat API. What I would like to do and what I'm hoping to work on this year is get the Tugboat integration directly wired up to GitLab and allow folks to actually have access to the Tugboat UI based on if you're a maintainer of the GitLab repo, then you would already have access to this page that we were looking at here, which would also open up the ability to get Lighthouse reports, visual diffs, and stuff like that, which I think would be really powerful for folks. There's also a terminal in here, like if folks need to drop in to a terminal, that would be really awesome as well to allow that for the community. So, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Chris.
Chris.
I think it could be linting that is preventing.
Oh, okay. What is your module?
Same page preview.
That's right, you told me this. Is it
Top of the issue queue in the same page.
same
preview.
underscore or same page
Same underscore page.
underscore preview? Okay, so let's check this one out.
Yep.
So you've got your issue here,
Yep.
and here's your merge request. This looks good. I don't see any reason why what you've built here wouldn't work. What I would suggest is closing the MR and then reopening it, because there's sometimes Drupal.org has an issue with the Tugboat API or vice versa. So you could try that.
Cool.
Did you push the commit after you opened the merge request? That shouldn't matter, should it?
I don't think that should matter, no.
Like if I push a commit, so if I push another commit to this, it should rebuild
It'll
the
rebuild.
Tugboat, right?
Even
Yep.
if it was the config YML from.
It should still work even if the file name was incorrect. So
Actually, could if we have time, can we go through that manifest? In like
Yeah.
detail?
yeah, let's talk through the config.yml file. So this is similar to the Docker Compose syntax. You can have as many services as you want in here. In this case, we've got a pre-built image that has Drupal already installed, and you can specify which version of Drupal you want here as the tag. So if we look at this, where's that documentation? No.
Oh, well.
I was going to
Chris,
pull
do you
up.
have a composer file?
I do.
Oh, okay.
It's not actually Docker Compose, but it's. Oh, you're talking about composer.
Yeah, because the documentation said
Yeah, yeah.
your module must have a composer file.
Yeah. So here's the image itself is. Whoops, not that. This is the repo where that image comes from, and it talks about the available tags. These are all based on it's underneath the hood. This image is using the Drupal recommended project, and so it respects all the tags that recommended project has, as well as major and major.minor tags we add as well. So if you want to just do the 10, or if you wanted to do 10.0, those are in there as well. And so once you have that, you have a service. So in this case, this is a PHP and Apache service, a single service that has Drupal installed is this one. But you could have, like, let's say you have a module or a theme that is using Node.js or something else. If you want to add like memcache in order to test out like memcache module or something, you can add additional services in here and get a little more complex. In this case, we also have MySQL is being used. Well, MariaDB technically. Once you have a service, you can set up different commands. In this case, there's different build phases. The update phase is setting up all of the composer requirements and also running Drush site install with the standard installation here. So if you were testing a distribution or an install profile, you'd switch this up and do something a little different here. In this case, we're just using the standard preview or standard install profile, adding some trusted host patterns to the settings.php after that runs, setting up proper file permissions, enabling the module, and then we have your build steps. So these are the things that would run every time you were to like switch branches or something like that. So in this case, we're running composer install. We're updating all of the composer dependencies for this branch, running any database updates that might be necessary, and then running cache rebuild. And you can customize these based on whatever, if it's a module. There's separate config down here for if you were running a theme, or if this was for a theme, where here's the Bootstrap theme, so you would, here is where the actual theme gets set. So yeah, that's like kind of the gist there. Steve?
Is it possible to do, as I see it, you're specifying Drupal 10, is it possible to have two tugboats generated, one for 11 and one for 10, while we're in this sort of weird in-between?
So like you've got a single branch that supports both 10 and 11.
Yeah.
I guess the way you could do that is to have two different services. You could have, a PHP 1 and PHP 2 or something like that, and check out the different image for each one. And you'd have to do a little bit of gymnastics to create an additional database for the other one.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that is possible. That's a great question. I hadn't thought about
So
that.
it would create 2 links on the PR?
Oh, that's a good question. So the Drupal.org integration doesn't work to have 2 different links. So yeah, that would be a limitation. But if once we expose this Tugboat UI, you would get 2 different links in here in this preview.
Gotcha.
You'd have a little drop down here, and you could switch, and you'd actually have a preview button down here on the other PHP service. So yeah, so I guess it wouldn't work right now for that.
But it's close. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a huge, for maintaining a module, like that's a,
Yeah.
keep everything working in both versions.
Right. Bo, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. Do we want to run through it with another example? Do y'all have a module you want to add it to? Or we can go through more questions too. So, you got a module, Steve?
Sure.
What-
Do,
Sorry, before you, did you get yours figured out, Chris?
So.
All right.
Alt text validation. Alt underscore text underscore validation.
Okay, am I in the right place?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to create a new issue. And is this the right branch to start from?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
It's great. You're doing a presentation and you're getting contrib credit.
That's true. Okay. Create the issue fork. And this time I'm not going to create the branch because I don't know why. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't. But
Oh, you could, if you go back to the issue, I
Uh-huh.
can save you time.
okay. Yeah.
They go back to the issue. Trust me.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Show commands.
Show commands.
Show commands. Do the first one. Add and touch this.
I haven't cloned this yet, though.
You. You haven't. Okay.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. I'm sorry. Never mind.
I thought you had a shortcut.
I thought
for
I
me
had a
for-
shortcut too. No.
Okay.
It's weird that they don't give you the Git instructions there too.
Yeah.
It's like no. You have to get close.
I don't do Drupal development at all anymore these days, so y'all probably have like all sorts of shortcuts for this that I don't have. But
My shortcut is that I do a Git checkup before I start.
yeah, there you go.
But yeah, then because like you had said, create new branch. I never do that. I just click these things and it makes it for me. Well, actually, there's another command you have to go and grab too. No, it made a branch.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
so see if it's still in my clipboard. Web form we're going to replace with, what's the name of it? Alt underscore text underscore validation.
Yep.
Okay. Old habits die hard. I'm just going to copy this down here. Okay. Wait, nope, it still hasn't showed up. There we go.
That's fantastic.
That's crazy.
I mean, that makes things so much easier.
Yeah. And we're going to cheat again.
And for anybody else, I'm not a paid sponsor, but we've been using Tugboat on EA for several years now, and it has saved hundreds of, if not thousands of man hours.
That's awesome.
Hours, human hours on that.
Person hours.
It's fantastic.
All right. Getting close. Oh, it says it's ready. View live preview. And let's log in, and you can tell me what to do after we log in to make sure that it's working.
Sure, if you go to configuration, where the hell is it?
Alt
There it
text
is, yeah.
validation?
Yep, under content. Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Awesome. So, validate alt text on save. And then if we were to I'm assuming if we were to create some content.
Yeah, it won't do anything yet. It's just still, it's module under construction, but we're.
Oh, okay. Nice. So, still working on this one.
It
but,
will
yeah.
read inside paragraphs, yes. It'll read any place there's a long text.
Will it then tell me where the paragraph is actually in use?
Not for paragraphs, no.
That's the problem I just read.
There's I think we have a feature request for that. We're building this as contrib first, so we're building it
Yeah.
live kind of thing. But I think we have a feature request for being able to identify what paragraph actually has the bad.
Well, it's not just what paragraph, it's where is that paragraph in use? Like what
Right.
node or what other, where can
Right.
I go find it? Where can I go see it?
Do we have another module or theme that we want to do? We probably got time for one more.
You can do workbench access.
Workbench access, all right.
Save me a day. Save me 20 minutes.
You're like, I didn't even need to go to this session.
I mean, I feel like I did.
All right. Am I in the right place?
You are in the right place.
Feature. What version?
2.0. Yeah,
2.0 or 2x?
Let's try the. Wow, it's been a while since I've worked on my own module. I think 2.0 next.
Okay.
Let's try that. And then for fun, we'll do Drupal 11.
Oh, okay. Getting really lazy with my issue summaries now.
Yeah. And we actually have some custom drush commands you could run here too. Actually, that would be helpful.
Okay. Well, this might be a good example then. I should create the fork first. And then,
Is that something you plan on working on, James? Like mentioning Drush, the copy and paste portion of this demo where you find and replace the snug for the module. Is that something you could awesomely interact with us?
is it something that we could what?
Automate.
Okay, so
a command where you can generate the config YAML file.
yeah, so the question is if the part where we have to copy in the config and then manually replace web form with our module name, is that something we're thinking about automating?
Yeah.
It's not something that we have thought about even how to solve that, but that's a good idea of how could we make this even easier. I guess one thing we did look into was GitLab has a way of adding common files like a GitLab CI file and have a template there. And I think we did talk with the DA about is it possible to have something like that. And I think when we looked at it at the time, it was not. But I don't know enough about GitLab to know why or anything like that. So, all right. So I could probably just hit the up arrow enough times and get the commands All right, so we're going to replace web form with workbench access.
Yep.
And then you were saying there might be another drush command too?
Yeah, well, let's use Drupal 11 instead of Drupal 10.
Oh yeah, that's right. Drupal
I think
11.
we should be able to use 11. And
Okay.
then I don't know what I only know what the shorthand command is. It'd be drush wa-test. And I don't know if that's a build step or
Yeah, I guess this would need to be down
build
here.
step. That's just gonna create a dummy vocabulary and populate it.
Okay.
That's all it does.
WA-test.
Yeah. and
Do I
don't-
need to pass the -yes option, or is it just
no.
No.
It's not an interactive.
okay? Chris.
It's working!
All right. Nice job.
What was it?
So that's
Like I
enough.
said, close, reopen the merge request.
Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and add this. Oh, we don't want to do that. That would be the wrong issue number. Oh. Whoa, I forgot to check out the fork. I skipped a whole step here.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay, so we will
Show command.
show commands. We skipped this whole section. So let's whoops.
Wait.
Oh, that was weird. All right, so now let's check out this. I don't know if I need to do that, but whatever. And now maybe the internet's gonna crap out on us. Oh, there we go.
Probably save you time on this. You just created it right in the fork in Git.
Oh, that's true.
Then you don't have to do the checkout every time.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't suggest to do it right now if you've never done it before.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
memory practice to do it, but it actually works pretty well.
We get to do this again. I should have saved what I had. Web form, place all, and then down here we did vendor bin drush wa-test.
Yep. And we changed it to Drupal 11 at the time.
Oh yeah, thank you.
No. But for good reason.
That is the correct issue number, and now I should be able to push
It's a much better preview experience.
and create the merge request.
And what Lord Sean said, working on content type. It's very similar to what I said. My end is just
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's cheat.
I don't know. Complex. You can get demystify complexity. Show one. I just thought it was hilarious that Drupal had such an awesome preview experience.
I wonder if my Drupal 11 image uses PHP 8.4. I'm not sure if that matters, but I noticed your last commit is 8.4.
Yeah, it's just a compatibility thing.
Okay.
I think that was a doc block fix, actually. So it shouldn't break. It's not a big deal.
So what would it take to get the Lighthouse scores to be reported?
We really need to make it so that contributors can access this dashboard, because it's just too much work for us to try to build all that stuff into Drupal.org, and the Drupal Association's trying to move away from Drupal.org issues anyways and move everything over onto GitLab. So, so yeah, what we want is to be able to provide access to everybody to this dashboard page here, so you can actually see that. But if you wanted to add it, it's pretty easy. In the config.yml, you'd add a section in here for URLs, and you'd list what URLs you want to test. So like you could test the home page, or if you had some other page that was built in there, and then it would run Google Lighthouse and visual regression testing for those URLs that you add.
Okay.
But right now, all you would be doing is wasting resources if you added URLs, because you wouldn't have access to see it. Okay, so it says it's still building, but I don't think it is.
Is that on the roadmap, or is that a...
It's on the roadmap in my head for
Got
this
it.
integration, which does
That's a
not
feature.
mean that it's on the Drupal Association's roadmap for this integration.
Gotcha.
But like you said, if there was just some kind of way to, probably the big focus is GitLab next.
Yes, yeah.
That whole engagement probably needs definition.
All right, so this is now Drupal 11,
Theoretically.
and
So if you go into the vocabularies,
structure,
structure, taxonomy.
taxonomy.
Yeah, there should be workbench access vocabulary. And if you list terms, that's what our drush command did. It's just, oh, you want to test, here's a vocabulary.
Right, great. There you go.
And then the rest of the config. Like, we could script more of this.
Yeah, Right.
We could script more of it with config set mostly, I think.
yeah, awesome.
And then it'd be like, oh yeah, come in here and you should see, because it doesn't matter how the rest of the module works. But
Right.
without this, you can't really do anything. So
Awesome.
That's the drush command has, which is, I need to test. Let me install this.
All right, so we're pretty much done here, but yeah, if you're running into any issues and you want help, there's a Tugboat support channel in Drupal Slack. So hop in there and post a message. You can also send us an email, support@tugboatqa.com, and we'll help out on that side. And if you want to help as well, look through that documentation, check it out, see if there's any improvements that can be made there. If you run into an issue, hop in there and you can improve those yourself. And also share your experience with other module developers, theme developers, and stuff like that. So let's get this more integration set up. So
You know what would be really, really interesting? I mean, have you seen any of the recipes stuff?
I haven't tinkered with recipes yet, but
If you allow recipe syntax in that YAML,
oh yeah, okay.
although you could just have people ship with a recipe. Too.
Right, yeah, you can add files inside of that Tugboat directory. If you have other files that are specific for the Tugboat, you can add those and then run them or whatever, import them at that point too. So,
Right, so you could
yeah.
potentially drop a recipe in there. It's like, this is my testing configuration and some dummy content, and then point it at that, because that's what recipes do.
Yeah,
So
nice.
that would
That's
be
true.
huge.
That would be awesome.
Right, because for this, I'd have to go in and do some configuration. I have to add this field to the nodes I want to put the
Yeah.
access restrictions on. So there's a bunch of stuff I have to go do from a setup.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that'd be great.
we could
Chris.
automate that.
Yeah, I was heads down for a bit. Sorry if I missed this, but is there any way to get Tugboat to run front-end test frameworks?
Yes, so
Cypress, Playwright?
Yeah, if you have like, so the question is there a way to run front-end frameworks like Cypress, Playwright? So being able to do, like, I assume, end-to-end tests, is that what you want to use those for?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's totally possible. It's obviously like more advanced than what we could do here in a few minutes, but I'd be happy to help you work on that.
Is that an abuse of your generosity?
No, I mean,
because theoretically we could run everything we're running in GitLab on Tugboat.
well, here's the thing. I mean, Tugboat's really geared for manual processes or some of those other things like we have like Lighthouse reports or something like that. But if you've got things that respond with like a JUnit file or something like that, that's really geared for like GitLab CI or something, you know. But if you have something like you're talking about where it is like, I do need a fully working website and I want to click around and stuff like that and take screenshots and stuff, then yeah, you can do that, and I wouldn't call that an abuse either. So you just might, right now with the current integration, you might not have access to the things that you want to have access to, because right now you only get one preview link, so you can't look at the like a page with all the test results of that run or something like that. So, but that's something we want to work on. So. Cool. Well, we are out of time, but yeah, connect with me if you want to chat some more. My email is james@tugboatqa.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn.
I have a bit of an annoying question.
Okay.
And what's to stop someone from going into my Tugboat preview and defacing it and defaming it and saying all kinds of obscene things?
Nothing really, as long as they would have to know the URL.
Who can see that link then? Let me ask that question. Who can see that link on my issue page?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have to be logged in to see that link. That's a good question. But you'd also have to know the login credentials, which it's not too hard to guess. But
is that configurable?
It's definitely open to abuse, as are many things on the internet.
But it only lives for 5 days, so whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's sequestered, so it's not going to get Google indexed and things like that.
Yes, it does not get Google indexed. If there's any emails sent out, those are captured, which right now that doesn't do any good. You wouldn't be able to see them, but we do have protections in place for indexing and other things like that. So, yeah.
Worst case scenario. Can we change the default password in the?
Yes. Yeah. That is
That'd
in
be
the.
Nice to see. How do you do that?
That's in this file right here.
Okay.
We're just saying.
You're just running. Yeah, you're just.
We're just passing account pass. Now again.
Yeah.
This is. If you change it, it's still going to be accessible on the internet for someone that is smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
So.
But also, then any of your contributors can't test things without knowing to look.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, we haven't had issues with abuse, and when it comes to time when we need to address issues, we'll think of workarounds, but we're not going to defensively deal with that at this point. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up because it is 3:55. I think we were supposed to be done at 3:50 or something like that. So, thank you all. Let me know if you have any questions. I've got some swag up here. If you haven't gotten a Tugboat shirt, we've got some shirts over there. There's also some books that you might be interested in, such as Flash 5 for Web Professionals and Step by Step Front Page 2003. So there's even more over here on this library to the side.
But